Huh?
But it was unmistakable.
Oh.
I wanted to kill him. I've always known there are demons that live inside people. And now I know there is one in me.
Well, what can be said? Lust for revenge shows up in everyone eventually.
The fact that it very nearly consumed me is something I'll carry with me until the end of my days, while I devote my life to fighting those whose demons have got the better of them. As a prosecutor.
So, that's what you've resolved to do, is it?
Until I'm ready to face the demon within me, to slay it once and for all. I leave this in your care.
Makes sense.
If
Because
you'll
get
take
justice done. For the
Of course I
lawyers.
will. I'll keep it
You're
by my
supposed to
side.
defend
Always.
people, prosecutors, make sure justice is done in a sense.
Until we meet again, then. You have your path to follow, and I have mine.
Naruhodo-san? The path you're going to follow from now on... I wonder if I might follow it at your side, and unless I'd be a burden.
You'd be a burden? Hey, you've helped me all this time. Why would you be a burden? I wouldn't think you're a burden now.
What? I mean, I would very much like you to come with me. But aren't you...
You're so predictable, Ryunosuke.
I am?
Honestly, you never change at all. But that's what I like about you.
You mean you knew about this?
Well, at least he's got his mental state back to normal.
It was the evening after Lord Van Zeek's
Lust
trial
for
came to an
revenge.
end.
Really? Oh, when I had that conversation with Professor Mikotoba.
So, you'd go with Ryunosuke back to Japan?
Yes, I know it's unfair of me to follow my own interests like this.
Coming here especially to tell me. You're a stickler for
It's
etiquette,
interesting
aren't
how each of these actors is a mix between British and Japanese
you? Well,
themselves.
what are his feelings?
We've never discussed it, of course, and Naruhodo-san has made no such suggestion. I worry that perhaps I'd be a burden to him.
He's just as much of a stickler for etiquette as you are. He'd never say anything before he was asked. But I'd feel happy knowing you were with him. Look out for him on my behalf, will you?
Of course.
Well, yeah, if you think about it,
Susato-san.
Kazuma felt like he failed him as a friend, given the trial, the events of...
What do you think, Naruhodo-san?
With you by my side, no trial would seem too daunting. So if you're willing, I'd be honored if you'd come with me. Together we can take on the world.
I'm terribly incompetent, but if you'll have me, I'd be delighted.
Oh, no, not at all. If anyone's terribly incompetent, it's me.
Ah! What's wrong?
Your luggage, Susato-san. There's no time. The ship's going to set sail any minute now.
It's all right. There's no need to worry. As it happens, my luggage is already on board too.
It is?
Your fine judicial assistant has everything in hand as always, I see.
Bruno! Your ship's about to leave!
Time to go then. Look after yourself, Ryunosuke.
Kazuma, draw your sword. One day, when our paths cross, once more, we'll fight a duel of words across the courtroom. A day I eagerly await, as a lawyer.
I've been waiting to hear you say that, partner.
They're both taking different paths, but you still call them partner.
Don't forget me then, Kazuma.
As if I could, Ryunosuke.
And Mr. Sholmes, thank you so much. I'm very much indebted to you.
Indeed, Mr. Naruhodo. I believe you are.
I'll never forget all you've done for me during my time in London.
Quite. I should like to think you will remember your debt of gratitude. Especially when I visit you in your country. What? The truth is, although many are ignorant of the fact, the world is far smaller than most folk realize.
Well, I'd be delighted if you came to Japan one day.
Oh yes, would welcome you with open arms, Mr. Sholmes.
Oh, that
Oh,
sounds
she'd say that.
wonderful! I can't wait!
In that case, let us conclude that this is to be merely a brief parting, my dear fellows.
And that brings us to the end of my adventures in Great Britain. A peculiar twist of fate brought me halfway around the world those many months ago. But that was just the start of my journey.
Now
Who
that
knows where
the
fate
events
will lead me
subsided,
next?
Kazuha's back to normal.
Still, I'm confident this won't be my last meeting with the friends I've made in London. And when we're together again,
Still, seems like
no
Sholmes
doubt
had
the
an idea
first
of what was
words
going
I'll hear
on.
will be,
Because he stopped.
Come, the game is afoot.
Because he stopped Kazuma from going to Britain
The ship, with our friends from the east,
temporarily.
sailed steadily towards the distant horizon.
He was the one who
But
brought in,
Sholmes' face
managed to
was
get hold of
alight with joy.
the assassin notes, and in doing so,
The times may change,
revealed
but
that
steadfast
Jigoku
friendship will
was
remain
part
true
of the
in
problem, part of the equation, rather.
We have but to gently close our eyes, and we are with our companions once more.
So, I do just that. And when I do, I can hear his strong, familiar voice ring out.
Objection.
objection!
Yep.
Until we meet again, Bruno.
Final words in the game. Objection! You're great, Ace of Thorns. I seriously hope they make a third on this. Because I wasn't too keen on the originals, so that's why I never played them. And this game takes the cake. I've been thoroughly inundated with inquiries about my... Huh? What damn prevail electrical goods and what of the promised closed port secrecy? Anyway, I decided an absence from London is in order, sojourn in distant climes. The Empire of Japan, perhaps. I understand that wardrobe class incurs no charge whatsoever. No, it's just forbidden, that's why. I gave a little note to Hurley the other day. It just said, "Thank you for everything, Daddy." It made Hurley cry. And I gave him some lotion I'd invented as well, to dye his hair red safely. But he said that might make him cry too, so he'd rather not use it. in those days when I was known as the Reaper, without your presence on my side. Once, unable to bear the burden of that grim pseudonym, I even retired from the courtroom. Despite everything, I still wear your prosecutor's badge with pride. But the darkness that once beset me is no more, as you, too, are no more. In the words of a young foreign friend of mine, I must stride forward, toward a brighter future. The boss left a note for me, you know, and I can read every letter now, A to Z, the whole lot. It's cleared a lot of stuff up. The boss was trying to protect me, see? And that's exactly what me and Chief Inspector Toby are going to keep doing for Londoners. I only wish I could have said how grateful I was before, you know. Gina, the truth is, I'm not the upstanding fellow you think I am. You might be a diver at heart, but it's a good heart. You've reminded me I need to be true to myself. I've got one more job to take care of before it's Tartar to London town for foreseeable. Get on board that ship, and then I've got to complete your education in the art of detection. A la Gregson, as they say. Your Excellency, this man is accused of illegal entry into the office of the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Objection! Oblique overstatement. Overruled. The Minister has been detained in Britain anyway. Who is this Cathish counsel for the defence, and women are forbidden to enter the courtroom? Oh really? My friend Susato's son is in the British courtroom all the time, and doing a wonderful job. Perhaps I should have engaged the services of a regular legal team. Chances are that the new judge permitted that, since Jigoku was arrested, was in jail. Mama, is it true about Japanese people? Are they experts at filleting corpses? Yes, they are. Fish corpses, on the whole. I'd like to hone my own filleting skills. You don't mind, do you, Mama? Yes, I do. I'm not a corpse yet, am I? No. And I'm glad. Until she gets bored and decides to cut your head off. Good luck till then, Scythe. Here I am again, Drake written on the invitation of my dear university friend. He sent me a very nice letter saying he'd like to show me around now that everything was settled. But what have I done? I was so excited I picked a splendid hotel and now I can't afford the bill. Oh Baroque, come to my rescue again please. I wish I could just vanish in thin air sometimes. He was probably meeting with his niece. Maybe it was probably not the right time still. When I went to make the widespread confession of the killing in the cemetery, I realized what had happened. But even in the witness stand and the highest court in the land, I could never speak of it. The Lord Chief Justice and I had struck a bargain, you see. For a favour reproduction of the presumed, there was nothing we trustbound to do. Everyone calls me gossip. I sell jaunty little tidbits to passers by, you know. Everyone calls me a peppino, and I sell her the spaghetti. Everyone they call me? No. cannot do it. This is ridiculous. Oh, Davy, how charming. You made lots of new friends here, I see. Yes, and when they're released, we're all going to strike it rich together. When I was accepted on the foreign study tour, I knew exactly what path I had to take. I never liked to them in the book. I knew that I wanted you there to see it. If I'd ended up in the dock, there's no one I would have rather had defending me. But now, thanks to you, there's a new path I want to take. I'm sure we'll meet again in the courtroom, my friend. Until then, I leave Karma in your care. Yep, he's back to normal. Indeed! Read some tea now, Hodo-san. It's important that you rest while you can. I'm so delighted to be accompanying you. After all, your talents have been recognized by great. Because you really are the greatest of lawyers. A great ace attorney. Some might say. No credits. Oh wait, it is credits. Don't know her face, and then you can see Susato really trying not to cry. Why? Because that's the last time she'll see about 75% of them, apart from Inosuke. No. It's a pity we never see that costume again. I still want to stick a knife in that guy's throat. Hey, you're supposed to be in court. Besides, you're supposed to be in jail. You two are supposed to be in jail. Damn it, Sholmes. You are supposed to be in jail. And you. With your Damon Gant clap. It's a glant. Long story short, since Kazuma and Nadia getting the better of him, he thought he was incapable of holding Haruma. Yeah, that's a logical feeling. After all, anger does cloud your judgment quite often. It's a question who takes over as Lord Chief Justice then. And who takes over from Jacob? They need to come out with a third one to clear those things up. Division resolve. I know that feeling. When I was younger, I went into charity shops all the time. What is it? It looks all dry and shriveled up in a bowl. Really, Miss Naruhodo? What is it? It's a sea anemone. An anemone? Yes, I mean, I know it doesn't look like that at the moment. It's all shriveled up, like you said. Aren't sea anemones living creatures? The ones that dance about on the seabed? Yes, exactly. The ones that dance about on the seabed. Oh, you sell sea anemones in bric-a-brac shops here in Britain? They must have gone out of... For real though, why do I get the feeling that the person who took over from Jigoku permitted Membami becoming a son? I don't know whether they normally do or not, but I do know that I bought one today. But why do you know? Well, yes, for the aquarium, of course. Aquarium? I don't know that word. Well, according to the shop, keeping sea creatures in tanks was hugely popular here in London before. Oh yes, some people have some beautiful fish in seawater tanks, it's true. Having an aquarium became popular because the old glass tax was abolished. There it is again, reading its opening head, the subject of taxation. That was a real craze for a while. Everyone in London had one. For a while? Yes, it didn't last long. People's enthusiasm soon waned. It's just far too much work to be changing the seawater regularly in a city like London. Never a true word said, I'm sure. You'd think people might have realised that from the start, really, wouldn't you? Anyway, that was long before I was born. Now everyone jokes that there's an unloved aquarium covered in dust in every African capital. And that's the reason I started calling Von Zeke's Baroque is because there are two now. Iris's father and him. That's why this is the age of sea anemone, and that made a lot of sense to me. It made sense to you, did it? Do you know, this anemone is completely dried up. You just need to soak in water overnight and it'll be as good as new. And that's what the man said. I'm not sure that it works in the same way as dried wakame seaweed, but let's have a look. Once I save some money, I'm going to buy some prawns to keep this little fellow company. Oh, how exciting! The office will be teeming with life. Wait, really? Britain is a funny country. I mean, sea anemone trees? I don't remember learning about that in history. Well, they say people in glass houses about comments like that here, Miss Nohola. Then again, I don't think I took history after my third year at school. Don't forget that there was a very curious rabbit craze in our own country not so very long ago. A mortifying chapter that people will try to erase from the history books 100 years from now, I'm sure. You know, there was another craze as well before the aquarium one. Have you heard of Wardian cases? Wardy what? No, I've definitely never heard of them. They were little glazed cases for growing plants indoors, I believe. I see, for plant lovers raise their favourite tropical plants. That's right, like different types of ferns. Ferns? Do you mean those rather dull plants with lots of fronds leaves? They're not dull at all. Ferns are lovely plants. I think people wanted to recreate the exotic foliage of the tropics in their own homes. So they grew ferns? I mean, ferns, sea anemones. London is certainly unnaturally obscure. Well, thinking about it. My grandfather loved the moss on his bonsai. He looked after better than the trees. Seems like the more obscure something is, the more it interests people. Maybe. Anyway, the Wardian case craze didn't last very long. And most of those little glass cases are just gathering dust, I think. But how nice seeing one in your run, Iris. Oh, very observant of you, Susie. Yes, that's right. Mine's certainly not gathering dust. They grow tropical herbs in it. Well, Miss Naruto, I really must ask you to stop all this frivolous buying of strange things. Yes, alright. Sorry. It's just not, well, think about Mr. Sholmes' room. He has all sorts of peculiar trinkets lying around. Oh, well, yes, that's true, and they seem to be growing in number. Recently I've noted a blowpipe, a few beryl crystals, and a twisted piece of gold, gold-rimmed pince nez. I spotted a small gramophone record in there the other day, so I slipped it onto the gramophone. There's just a whispering voice saying, Norbury, and nothing more. What could it possibly be about? Those old mementos are cases now only solved. Exactly, that's why I want to create in here, just that sort of atmosphere. Ah, I'm looking for meaningful trinkets, each with our meaning history. Yes, that. I knew you'd understand, Mr. Sato. But, Miss Naruto, none of the things you bought from them have any connection with any of our cases. Oh, don't they? Well, for example, take that splendid but rather weather-beaten top hat. I wasn't used as evidence in any of the cases we worked on, was it? Oh, so you have two top hats if you count the collapsible one as well? No, collapsible one is a pot stand, as far as I'm concerned anyway. But the other day when we were in court, they were everywhere, weren't they? Top hats, I mean. Well, here in Britain, of course, they're the mark of a true gentleman, so that's hardly surprising. If a man isn't wearing a top hat when he ventures out of doors, he'll be looked down upon. Gosh, it has very strict rules, doesn't it? English gentleman's code. I've been wondering how I'd look in a top hat recently. After all, my university uniform is black as well, so I think it might be very in keeping. Oh, what a good idea. Go on then, Reno. Try it on. The lesson here, I suppose, is how the juxtaposition of student and gentleman is just so strange and wrong. Well, I'd rather it didn't suit me anyway. I mean, these hats are ridiculous. I'd be willing to bet every foreigner who sees one of these for the first time thinks exactly the same thing. Why is that man wearing a chimney on his head? Yeah, for dollars about. People in glass houses, remember, Reno? What do you mean? Well, what about Japanese Tonmage top knots? Those haircuts are the height of ridiculousness. True. At least you can take a hat off. Once you have a chonmage, it's chon your head for good. I'd be willing to bet every foreigner who sees a chonmage for the first time and thinks exactly the same thing. Why is that man wearing a cannon on his head? I suppose that's what it means to have different cultures, isn't it? On the subject of hats, the one Mr. Sholmes always wears is really very strange, don't you think? I beg your pardon, Mr. Naruto. What a thing to say. That hat is the very essence of Mr. Sholmes. Yes, without his Deerstalker, the great detective would be unrecognizable. It's called a Deerstalker? That's a surprisingly swanky name. To have a hunter just like the Flat Cap. I made up my mind long ago to visit Regent Street and buy one for myself. I'm not sure it's going to fit over your hair. Well, I think it's perfect for a great detective who stalks his criminal quarry. What do you think is strange about it anyway? Well, you've seen it. It has two brims, one at the front and one at the back. Why do you need two brims on a hat? Surely one at the front is enough, no? One moment, please. If you ask me, it's just Mr. Sholmes' madcap personality coming through. That's why he doesn't have to think about which way round to put it on or something like that. Mr. Sholmes does not have a madcap personality. He always has a Deerstalkers were made for hunters who had to hide in the thickets when they were stalking their prey. The brim at the back was designed to stop the stalks of plants scratching backs of their necks. Oh, so that's the reason. Thank you, Iris, for educating us. Mr. Sholmes doesn't spend a lot of time in thickets, does he? Well, no, that's true. I'm telling you, it's just his impetuous personality, and that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it, firmly. Ah, here you all are. Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Sholmes. I've not long since made some tea, Mr. Sholmes. You like a cup? I see you've had a good time, Mr. Sato. Thank you. Now, I have something I should like you all to see. I designed myself a brand new Great Detective's hat. What the? There's a brim! At the front and at the back. And at both sides, 4 brims in total. Your observation is quite correct, my dear madam. I'm a busy man, you see. But with this hat, whichever way I put it on, it's in the correct way. Oh. Occurred in an impetuous moment where it erroneously with the brims on either side. That's impressively clumsy, I would say. And I must regretfully say, I think your madcap theory was correct after all. But really, Mr. Sholmes, if brims on all 4 sides like that, wouldn't it just be better to wear a top hat instead? Oh yes, then however you put it on, you'll have a brim all around. What? So true, so true. How could I have been so blinkered to this fact until now? Well, fortunately, I happen to have 2 top hats here. If you'd just lift the paw off of it, you're welcome to try that one there. Indeed I shall, my good fellow. Oh dear, Hurley, you look sad. Oh, that's not good. Maybe it's because of your long face paired with a tall hat just doesn't work. I think it's very nice, Mr. Sholmes, even if it will have the whole working face of laughter. Ah! I should have never meddled with it. Give me a Deerstalker forevermore. And give me my Regulation University hat forevermore. I still hope that you'll graduate one day, Mr. Narada. Don't give up. Oh, yeah, it is 6 months later. So, Mr. Natsume, are you really returning home to Japan? Yes, indeed I am. Everything is arranged already. It'll be sad to see you again. And after Reno worked so hard to prove your innocence as well. What a shame. It feels like it was all a waste of effort. Don't say that! I know what you're suggesting. Oh, calm down, Mr. Natsume. It's all fine, really. You're in good company here, sir. If you fear the Reaper, you needn't hide the fact. I'm a proud citizen of the Empire of Japan. I'm not a scaredy cat. Even though the Reaper is Strongheart. Or the one from the stream, probably. I wonder, a mustache such as yours is eminently suited to London, I would say. Really? There goes Mr. Sholmes, running another kind. The moment I arrived in the city, I noticed. Everyone in London laughs at me behind my back, like hyenas. Hysterical hyenas, ha-haing horribly. I'm sure that's not true, Mr. Natsume. Oh, but it is. Whenever I turn around and peer down the log-filled street, all I see is foreigners everywhere. Well, there's you, Reno, and Susie in here, so that's 3 foreigners out of 5 people. I take your point. Only the other day, I was taking a stroll through the park as usual when a young man approached me from ahead. He was pale and gaunt, his back out like a cat. Observing his wretchedness moved me so deeply. Ah, I thought to myself, I'm not the only one suffering in this hell. But, do you know what? Can you imagine? It was just my reflection in a shop window. A stunning, stinging, stupefying surprise. Don't forget, slap in the face. Everyone started laughing at me. Gentlemen and thereabouts, ladies passing by. Even the man in the shop window. Ah yes, a certain great detective would like to be included among them therefore. Ah! Mr. Sholmes is really going for Saseki-san today. Well, I, for one, think you're really... Hey, did you hear that? This 10-year-old girl thinks you're handsome. Isn't that wonderful? That makes me feel suspiciously warm inside. I was genuinely delighted. The point is, we Japanese are humble and modest. Studying on foreign soil, surrounded by foreign people, how could anyone possibly enjoy it? No one could, it's impossible. If you're genuine Japanese. If you say so. Actually, it would appear that there is someone. A Japanese man who studied in a foreign country and seems to have thrived in the experience. There is. Mr. Ogai Mori. I believe he studied in Germany. Mr. Mori, pray tell us more of the fellow. Well, today he is a very successful author in Japan. Oh, I've heard of him. He is the professor who wrote Maihime, isn't he? Maihime? I suppose in English the title would be Dancing Queen. So Hime translates as Queen. Understandable. I see, tale of a woman who waltzed her way through the world, perhaps? You really needn't make up a silly translation, you know. It's already officially called a dancing girl. Hime's girl? I thought Hime was queen. It seems Mr. Mori greatly enjoyed his time in Germany. He became close with a local lady while he was there. Close, you say? With a local lady? A complaint is criminally contradictory conduct. Well, I suppose your experience of studying abroad depends to a large extent on your character. As they say, many minds. Mr. Mori has an open mind, Miss Natsume a closed one. Possibly a slightly black and white view, don't you think, Mr. Sholmes? Well, anyway, if that's how you feel about being abroad, why did you choose to study here? Wouldn't it further our nation's understanding of the English language or something? Yes, that's right. So, what were you doing in Japan before you came to Great Britain then? I was a school teacher. Of English, of course. A bit cursory, perhaps, but I managed to discover some information about Mr. Natsume's teaching days. Let's just let outside the field of law, isn't it, Mr. Sato? Well, let me pose you a question, Miss Naruhodo. If you had to translate the English phrase, I love you, into Japanese, what would it become? That's easy. Aishiteru, or Suki desu. Aishiteru. Where does that sound? Wrong, according to Miss Natsume's teachings at least. What? Would you like to explain, Miss Natsume? Yes, of course. Your research was very thorough. I always used to tell my students that we Japanese don't express ourselves that way. Rather, we might say, Soki ga kirei desu ne. My dear Miss Natsume, I must interject. Soki ga kirei desu ne would translate as, the moon is beautiful, isn't it? I know that! The point is that we Japanese are reticent when it comes to expressing our emotions. We try to show our feelings of adoration, our Suki, by appreciating the beauty of the moon, the Suki. Using the Suki to express Suki. It's amusing play on words, I see. No, or in language you might understand better, bad shows. It's not play on words, it's subtle, it's humble, it's fleeting and beautiful, it's art. Isn't it just being shy? My dear fellow, no fine dancing girl or friend would be out of your reach with such attitude. Imagine how the great Mr. Mori would act. He would win ladies' heart in a flash with a well-placed and unrestrained I love you. Oh, that's sweet, little boy. Am I destined to live in his shadow forever? That's what sort of man is he in that imagination of yours? Wait, I think I read the term issue 2 a while back. It's in one of the Trail of Cold Steel 4 songs. Trails of Cold Steel 4. Yeah, Sal's Scholar lives near there. A man by the name of William James Craig. His knowledge of Sal is unsurpassed. He's been a great inspiration for me all that. Forgive the interruption, but am I supposed to be familiar with this Sal of which you speak? It's Shakespeare, of course. Shakespeare, but in Japanese we write it as Sa and O. It's a phonetic representation using kanji characters. It's a phonetic representation using kanji characters, so England is Igirishu, and America is America. Well, yeah, we know Igirishu, because that's where Aochi fucked up when he was trying to charm Asashino. Come to think of it, we use the same character as Ri in one word and Risu in another. Not that confusing. So Shakespeare is S-A-O in Japanese, Sa-O. Presumably the Sa is a brutal attempt in the first Sha, in which case where is the Spear? I never thought of that, we only have the O left. Which could, even in the most charitable interpretation, only be a brutal attempt at an old man. Seems to me that whoever had the job of deciding the character's first name and got bored very early on. Complete kanji character catastrophe. So then, on to the burning question. What about me? How do you write my name? Sorry? Herlock Sholmes, my dear fellow. There must be Japanese characters for my name. Oh dear, I'm sorry, Mr. Sholmes, but none exist I'm aware of. What? Am I really nothing too Japanese? In that case, this is a matter of paramount importance. You must construct my name in kanji at once. Oh, well, we could use kanji that's pronounced so to start with, and then use one more to give you... So, perhaps? I think that would be about right, Mr. Sholmes. But that's almost the same as Sao, isn't it? Yes, you employed the dreaded O. I don't want people to confuse me from an old man who died centuries ago. I'm sure the world's greatest literary figure would rather not be confused with you either. Well, the world's greatest detective is still youthful and full of vigor, so how about... So hard... What? Oh yes, that sounds wonderful. I'm sure everyone will be calling you that 100 years from now. How can she say that with a straight face? What about me then, Iris? Perhaps Aihime, since the second character doesn't seem to matter? Aihime? Oh yeah, Princess of Love. That's an adorable... Wait. Oh yeah, I is love. AI is love. Because I know Uta, the credit song for Cold Steel 4 translates to a poem of love, or ode of love. That's an adorable name for you, Iris. Stop, please, with a name like that. Mr. Mori's mom is likely to turn up at any moment and rashly declare, I love you. Miss Mori-san has become quite a character in Soseki-san's mind. And you, Miss Naruhodo? Might I venture Kurobozu as a fitting name for you, as in the Dark Monk? Well, yeah, Kuro does mean dark. Oh, that's very good. It describes you perfectly, Reno. So you think I'll be wearing this black varsity uniform for the rest of my days, do you? But Miss Naruhodo already has a Japanese name. I don't believe he needs another. I don't know what Kaya would be in Japanese. I mean, it's already Gaelic. It's got two meanings. First, big hill. Second, born leader. Which is partly where the name Tiger came from. Well, anyway, we were talking about your life here in London, weren't we, Mr. Natsume? You should just get out and have fun. The landlady says much to me too. Miss Garadep? But it wasn't fun at all. It was frightful. Whatever do you mean? A cycle incident! An incident? On a bicycle? Oh yes, come to think of it. There's an old bicycle park just outside, isn't there? It's no sorry state now. Eh? God, this watch is annoying. So I took my life in the hands and attempted to try to steal spider-webbed stallion to a nearby park. I really don't think there's anything wrong with your pronunciation. Joan Garadep just isn't the kind of woman to take no for an answer. If you're going to die, you might as well die in beautiful surroundings, so the park was my first thought. After a whole day of dicing with death, I managed with only relatively minor bruises. So, you got knackered. Don't be silly. Dying isn't something you can learn to do. Mr. Natsume, you keep talking about dicing with death and dying and so forth, but riding a bicycle is supposed to be fun. Oh no, that's just what people tell you, but it's an old wives' thing. Well, I haven't grown up without with face and feet. I've never been able to ride bikes, so I can't really say for certain. Is it? I mean, just consider the real name of the vehicle. It's not called a bicycle, no. It's called a bicycle. Bi meaning two. Like, referring to the fact that a bicycle has two wheels. Bi. Then tricycle, tri means three, referring to the fact that it has three wheels. Pedal power promises pain. I didn't think it was possible to get worse than this. I'm lucky to be alive, although I must say, after looking down in the eye for a whole week, I did at least manage to mount the steed reliably, and notwithstanding a few wobbles, I found I could make progress in the forward direction. What a triumph. The doctrine is much the same. When first presented with a problem, the mental exertion of trying to solve it leads only to bitter disappointment. Agreed. But after a week of picking one's way carefully along the path of reasoning and thought, one begins to see results. So is that why all of your off-the-cuff deductions only seem half-baked? No, given how accurate he was with Professor Mikotoba, it's pretty clear he's just doing it to test you. Unfortunately, after wandering down the street, I noticed there were stones everywhere, death traps. Not that way, I said to myself, but the wild vehicle wouldn't listen. It wobbled me on and on down the street. So of course I hit one of those deadly stones, and the crazy cult threw me. It's just my luck. Bicycles are the epitome of my pitiful life. I wish I could disagree. On the same subject, I'm sure there's a famous American author who's written about having a similar experience. Oh yes, I've read that essay too, Iris. So I must have been read nuts. Well, No more dice calls for me. Oh, Miss Natsume, at least you have an interesting anecdote to take with you back to Japan, if nothing else. You always manage to put a positive spin on things, don't you, Miss Usato? Personally, I haven't mounted a bicycle for some time. No, me neither. That's good. So how about it, John? We shall all ride out together. Huh? That sounds great. I'll perch behind Miss Usato. But the sun is going down. It will be pitch black before long. London street lamps are very bright, you know, and the fog isn't too thick today. My beloved ride is all bent out of shape. My dear fellow, if you're bound to top the vehicle anyway, it's fitting that's already bent out of shape. So then, come along, Miss Natsume. Shall we go? Soki ga kirei dusone. Desone. Don't tell me that's a translation of no thank you as well. Indeed, Miss Natsume. The moon is at its most beautiful at precisely this time in the evening. Oh. We're not Japanese. You can't be around the bush for us. What a weird and wonderful world. I love how they use obscure actors for the characters. Sir, Constable Rowley beat replying for duty. Thanks to the good officers of Lord Van Zeeks. I'm back on beat in the capital, doing my best for the good citizens of London, sir. Ah, my Rowley, back in his Bobby's uniform. He couldn't look any more handsome if he tried. Ah, my love, you see the sweetest face. Oh, joy. First, Lord Van Zeeks isn't a Reaper Bailey at all. He isn't. He actually isn't. Oh no, of course not. He's the patron saint of Bobbies. The real Reaper is Strongheart, using Clint to eliminate his targets. That's getting the name passed on to him. You know my first day back on the job? What did I find in the gutter? A shilling, my love. A whole shilling. Oh, Rose, I always believed in you. I always knew one day you'd find some big small change. Just like shilling, I could buy you a cheap bunch containing a single flower, my children. A single flower? Oh, how romantic. But I'm so sorry, Pat. Only moments ago, that shilling disappeared. It disappeared? But how on earth happened? I think maybe, no, I'm sure. It was this girl here, sir. You swiped my precious shilling, didn't you, you cheeky little diver? Blimey. You took your time getting on me, didn't you? I thought that lovey-dovey stuff was never gonna end. So, a shilling, you say? Lifted from your work? Don't know nothing about it. Where's the evidence, eh? Right there, the evidence is dancing around in the back of your hand, little lady. You stole it from me. You lifted it from my pocket just now. You've got nerve stealing from a Bobby. Cobblers, this coin's mine. How could you know anyway? How could you know if I was taken just now, though? Oh, God. Dear me, you don't get it, do you? I've already got a Peniton name, so that coin felt as heavy to me as a bar of gold. Eh? I'm telling you, the moment it left my pocket, I felt myself get a good few pounds lighter. What's the matter with you, eh, Mr. Naruhodo? Huh? Me? Sorry? When a lady's in trouble, a true gent's supposed to be there to help. Straight away, not an hour later. This isn't my fault, I haven't stolen anything. And what about you, eh, Sholmes? I thought you were supposed to be a great detective. Dear me, Miss Lestrade. You took your time getting around to me, didn't you? I thought that long dispute was never going to end. You only said give us a minute when we spotted you over the road and said hello. And that was 10 minutes ago, Ginny. We've just been standing here listening to you call this Bobby. Do beg your pardon, madam. You shouldn't be troubling the public with police business. That shilling belongs to us, doesn't it, Rowley? Of course it does, my love. It's just for you and me, my darling. This was just supposed to be a nice stroll of Iris from Mr. Sholmes' part from me too. Maybe I have to let him to another fiasco on Brian Road. Let me see how it could be of any help, Gina. There's no way of knowing who the coin really belongs to if it was just dropped in the gutter. I won't be so sure on that, Reno. What? Yeah, I have a feeling I might know the answer. The question of whose coin that is. Ah, I'm writing Ferry Lodge. Let us hear your deduction. Well, there's actually a reason why I suggested a stroll down Brian Road. Oh, what reason? See, I was here yesterday and, well, I dropped a little something, so I wanted to come and look for it. While enjoying an afternoon stroll. Wait, you dropped something? You don't mean... That was a pocket money that Hurley gave me. What's this, Iris? You dropped that, did you? I'm sorry. I went to the market on Lime Street yesterday to pick up some herbs, you see. On the way, I must have dropped it. The 1 shilling coin you gave me. A 1 bob, I must have dropped it here. Constable, you haven't seen it, have you? It's all my pocket money and now it's gone. Well, I'm afraid I don't know anything about that young lady. What wrong not dropping your money like that? Sorry. I dare say the constable and his companion could give you a run for your money or no white eyes. It's all the same to you, Mr. Sholmes. I think I prefer not to be used as a yardstick for looking guilty. Well, it's tough really, isn't it, Iris? You dropped it, so it ain't yours no more. Anyway, you know what they say. What goes around comes around, so don't feel bad. Bad luck, Iris. It doesn't look like you're going to get your coin back. Oh, I can't believe I've lost it. And straight after Hurley gave it to me as well. Yes, regrettable indeed. I seem to recall that particular coin was rather significant. What do you mean, significant? To be specific, it was especially significant to you, Reno. Significant to me? Ah, you don't mean it was the coin from last night's wager? The very same, my dear fellow. What's this then? What wager? It was a game of poker. A duel between Hurley and Reno. Poker? What? That tricky card game, you mean? Yeah, I'm 21 and even I think it's tricky. Sounds complex anyway. As a lawyer, I have the poker face. You'll never be able to tell what I'm thinking, said he. But depriving Mr. Naruhodo of his entire fortune was even easier than finding that missing thoroughbred. So infuriating, reliving it now still makes me grit my teeth. Sorry, Iris, I had every intention of paying you back the money I owe you. We'll have to wait, I'm afraid. Yes, I know. Don't worry. Next month is fine. Let me guess, Odo. Your whole fortune? Well, shame. My entire monthly stipend, and I lost all of it. I handed it over to Mr. Sholmes and grit my teeth so hard my gums started to bleed. Yeah, I've grit my teeth so hard now it's felt like my face is gonna break. Can't wait to get this thing off. Please, Reno, don't exaggerate. That's a horrible image. What about a lawyer who borrows money from a 10-year-old girl? No, that's a horrible image. Why do I feel like my reputation with this couple is just falling through the floor? There are a few things more invigorating than taking a man for all he's worth. Don't be so pleased with yourself, Hurley. It's not as if Runa ever had a chance of winning. Wait, what? What do you mean by that? Well, using that special ink I developed, anyone could... Thank you, Iris. That will do. I'm sure this conversation is proving very dull for everyone. What's done is done. The game is over now. There's no point flying over spilled milk. Special ink, you say? Well, sir, that sounds like the sort of risky business. That was right up my alley. Oh, really, I love your dauntless spirit. You laugh in the face of danger. Come on then, Iris, spill it. What's this special ink about, eh? Ah, well, it's what's sometimes called invisible ink. Yes, invisible ink. All you have to do is write the student number on the reverse side of every card. And whether you have some special glasses, the whole game is laid bare to you. Wait, you were wearing glasses last night, weren't you? You were wearing glasses last night, weren't you, Mr. Sholmes? You said something along the lines of, my eyesight appears to have suddenly worsened. And the moment you failed to question that as odd was the moment I knew I had won the game. Mind games, was it? Trying to throw me off with your eccentric ways? So you're telling me Sholmes could see every card what Odo had? What? But that's not mind games, that's blatant cheating. My dear fellow, what an accusation. Would you honestly consider me a cheat? Please, I prefer tricks. Whatever you call it, the game doesn't count now. Understand, Mr. Sholmes? Dear me. Well, out of respect for the bad trades for which you take defeat, allow me to return your shilling. You hear that, Gina? So give it here. Eh? Leave me out of this. This there one bob bit was mine from the start, no question. No, sir, that there one bob bit was lifted from this here Bobby's pocket a few minutes ago. So you keep saying. Come on then, where's the evidence? Eh? The law, right, is all about evidence. I know my stuff. You see, Miss Naruhodo, use the trite excuse in court and others will parrot it. Only, whenever I do say I'm in court, it isn't as a trite excuse. As I said, son, that coin has got my blood, sweat and tears all over. That's right, it has. Rory's blood, sweat and tears on you. Blood, you say? In that case, it's time. This. Do you think... Well, if there's any trace of blood on that coin, we'll soon know about it. Alright, Ginny. Oh, very still. Eh? What? Ah! Look at that. See it on the coin? It's clearly changed colour. In other words, there's blood on this coin. Once again, as I said, son, that would be my blood. Oh, wait. I've seen blood turn that colour before. Yes, I know whose it is. I know whose coin it is. What? The rightful owner of this blood-stained shilling is... Bruno. Huh? Me? And from the appearance of the blood, I would say it's quite fresh. Left within the last 24 hours. Within the last... In that case... So, this is the coin what Sholmes had off Odo last night in the poker game? Oh, Bruno, do you mean you really did make your gums bleed? I told you, I was so infuriated to lose, I had to grit my teeth as I handed over the money. Blimey, you're as hard up as me, the son of it, but I thought you had a proper job. Come on, Gina, just hand it over, would you? The shilling, that's rightfully mine. Fine, alright then. I finally have it back. It's like a dream come true. Just stop your bleeding staring. I finally have it back. It's like a dream come true. I nearly had that one in the bag and all. That's wonderful news, Reno. I'm so happy for you. Now then, as you promised. I'd like my money back, please. No shilling I mentioned before. You did say that you'd pay it back out of this month's pocket, didn't you? Oh, Yes, well then, I suppose. My dear fellow, do be kind to your gums. Looks like that shilling was always destined to be taken from you, sir. For some reason, the phrase serves you right is floating around in my head. So, Iris, as promised, here is the shilling I owe you. Oh, you repaying me already? Well, thank you. Next month we can find out. What's it all about anyway? What are you lending all the money for? Ah yes, well actually, it's because I went to the Lime Street Market yesterday to buy herbs. For Runa. Herbs? For Odo? Yes, the tea Mr. Sato left behind is top quality Gyokuro tea, but it's just so bitter. So that's after she went to Japan then. So I was suggesting mixing it with some herbs to make it more palatable. I asked her to buy me some. That's right, we've made a special Japanese herbal tea with leftover Gyokuro. I'm going to call it Suzy Special Blend. I do hope you all try it. Excruciating bitterness comes to the throat if you can persuade them. The bright green glue to leave the cup. Why, it sounds quite delicious. Yeah, right. Shame on you, Rowie, stealing money from me. Well, it would appear the shilling's brief adventures are now at an end. Adventures? You must agree, my dear fellow, that the coin has made a considerable journey since last night. Let's see, originally it was a coin I was supposed to give to Iris to pay up for herbs. But then, in our poker duel last night, it passed to you, Mr. Sholmes. I gave it to Iris to spend the money. And then I dropped it here sometime yesterday. Then my beloved Lily found it a little while ago and picked it up. Before it was lifted from my pocket by the said diver, I then used my favourite gun to show the blood that was on it. And let's live about Sholmes' little scam in his card game last night. The annulment of which resulted in the coin returning to the ownership of Mr. Naruhodo, allowing me to pay Iris the money I owed her after all, for the herbs you brought in order to make Suzy's special blend tea. And now, after all that, the coin is resting safely in my pocket. Yeah, you're right, that was an adventure. But what are we supposed to take away from it, eh? And this 1 shilling coin belongs to Iris and Iris alone, now you think? I cannot fault your observation, Miss Naruhodo. Well, you know what they say. What goes around comes around. Why do I get the feeling that Iris knew I was coming around to her from the very beginning? Ha ha ha! Priceless, as they say. Well then, my dear fellow. How about this evening we indulge in some bitter tea and a bitter rematch? I'd even allow you to stake the coming month's spending money in advance. I fold. Date unknown, dear baby. Awesome.
Objection!
Well, it's unclear as to whether the victim was already actually killed in the defendant's suite or not. After all, when Mr. Sholmes left the room for only a brief moment, Madame Rosie suddenly somehow vanished herself out of his room completely. Vanished herself, Counsel? The victim? Quite true, my lord. There is but one adjoining door between my drawing room and kitchen. Yet having brewed some tea in the kitchen, I returned to find the room completely empty. There was nobody else present. Ordinarily, my fellow lodger, Iris, would have been at home. However, on the day in question, she had been invited to a meeting of a scientific society in the city. I'm afraid you are myself, but really, it seems to me entirely plausible that she chose to leave via the main entrance to your suite. As it happens, my lord, the door to the accused's room was locked at the time from the inside. Very true, Inspector. As such, you can see with considerable surety that the victim did not leave via my front door. But what about... Aha, yes, she could have snuck out of her window.
Objection!
The windows in the room were locked, it's true, and the victim had the opportunity. However, there was snow all around the building outside, and not a patch of it had been disturbed. Would my learned friend care to explain how the victim could have left without leaving a trail? So the victim, Madame Rosie, somehow vanished from the scene before she was killed. Ah. Naturally, I was alarmed by the sudden disappearance of my guest. So I summoned this gentleman. He resides in the attic room above my own, and we took a cab to Scotland Yard. I can confirm that the defendant called for me, and I saw his suite on my way downstairs. And yes, I'm quite sure it was empty, just as Mr. Sholmes has said. When we reached the yard, this very detective happened to be here. Ah, well, yes, you see, I was just in my office for a while, having got back from some, important business. For Strongheart, perhaps? And then, having explained the situation to the inspector, we travelled back to Baker Street together. At that time, there were no footprints in the snow around the building other than the ones we'd made. Do I take it, then, Counsel, that you personally witnessed the scene where the incident took place? No, my lord. I went straight up to bed in my own room in the attic. Inspector Gregson, however, was meant for the most blood-curdling sight. On Mr. Sholmes' sofa, the vanished Madame Rosie, motionless. So the victim was already dead when you discovered her, Inspector? No, my lord, not dead. Not half it. She mustered all her remaining strength to say these dying words. That rotter, Sholmes, will be the death of me. You do realize that's just a saying? When someone just keeps pestering you, you just say, ah, you're gonna be the death of me. Ah, yes, I overheard that remark at the time too, delivered in a rasping voice full of malice. No! Those words indeed proved to be her last. The victim expired moments later down the sofa. Baroque, it's a saying. The cause of death was identified as damage to the respiratory tract as a result of strangulation. Pray, does the accused dare to contest the inspector's account? Certainly not. In fact, the inspector has done an unusually fine job of summarizing salient points. Sholmes will be the death of me. Damning departing words indeed. Judge, death will be the death of me is a famous saying. I've said it quite a few times and I'm still here. In our final moments, the victim named herself. You listed her options. But the defendant had no reason to take the victim's life. It might have been an idiot, but perhaps you could tell the court, Mr. Sholmes, who exactly this Madame Rosie was. Ah, yes, of course. Did I never mention her to you? And extended an invitation to our evening. Though she is loquacious in the extreme, the most trivial of matters quickly becomes a quarrel. I was only too pleased to leave her presence to meet tea. Great. It would appear, then, that the accused did in fact have a motive for silencing his arrested guest permanently. Such and such will be the death of me is just a saying. Jeez, like I said, doesn't mean they'll actually be the death of you. I've said that about 50 times in the 21 years I've been alive. And I'm still here.
Objection!
Putting that tenuous motive aside, what about the other mysteries surrounding the case? I'm inclined to agree with the defense. There remains a number of inscrutable details. Baroque, it is a saying. Nonsense, what have I overlooked? My lord, please. The truth about the mysteries surrounding this case are known to another besides Great Detective. What's this? On my word, Miss Naruhodo, you're coming along wonderfully. You've deduced a fundamental truth about this case, I believe. Which would be, Detective? And the truth of this case is known only to the true culprit, obviously. Is that not so, Gregson? What? Well, I suppose, yes. You don't mean... Are you suggesting, Mr. Sholmes, that you have an idea as to what actually happened that night? An idea, my dear fellow. I could explain the entire incident from start to finish, with not a single detail omitted. It seems the detective has failed to grasp the situation. Pray, Mr. Reaper, which of us has truly failed to grasp the situation, I wonder? In answer this, you claim that time for instance, the victim suddenly vanished without a trace from your room. If so, how exactly did Madame Rosie disappear? Why, naturally, via the window. It was ajar. That can't be. The room is a whole story above street level, and anyway, no prints were found in the snow. Maybe she could have traced your footprints? There are any number of ways one could avoid leaving tracks in the snow, surely. Such as flying, for example. Fatuous notion. And to where do you propose the victim flew, Mr. Sholmes? This is not entirely plain. The culprit's abode, of course. For, having left my suite, that's clearly where Madame Rosie was murdered. Take a moment to consider the cruel irony, if you will. By her own volition, she flew directly to death. Do you forget, Detective? The victim's corpse was discovered on your own sofa. No doubt because her killer carried her back there. But what about the lack of footprints in the snow again then? There just weren't any. Other than our own, from when we returned home ourselves. If by our footprints you refer to your own and mine, you're quite right. But never those of another. On the night in question, there was one other person who could have conveyed the victim to my sofa. What? Good gracious! To whom do you refer, sir? A man whose somewhat unavailing presence at the scene of crime would be questioned by no one. Unavailing. Ah! You don't mean... Indeed I do. A man who raced into the scene directly upon learning of the incident at Scotland Yard. You, Inspector Gregson. But he was taking orders from Strongheart. Yeah? When you arrived at my address on Baker Street, you were carrying the half-dead Madame Rosie with you. You waited for a suitable opportunity and then laid the victim on my sofa. You did what?
Objection!
But we were with the Inspector when he arrived. How could he possibly have been carrying the victim? We would have noticed. My dear fellow, a most obvious answer presents itself, does it not? The Inspector is rarely, if ever, without his overcoat. The victim was simply conveyed in one of its mates. I fail to see what makes this detective great. I can say one thing with great certainty. The human body cannot fit into the pocket of an overcoat. I believe you may all have fallen foul of a rather significant misapprehension. What? Madame Rosie was not a human. I beg your pardon? Mr. Sholmes? Yes, Mr. Naruhodo? Something troubles you, perhaps? Whatever gives you that idea? Exactly what sort of creature was Madame Rosie? Is it not apparent already? A parakeet, of course. Huh? A most self-conceited specimen, in fact. A parakeet? She was an incessant talker, I must say. Her manner was quite intolerable at times. Wanted to turn every conversation to a quarrel. I thought to strangle the creature on more than one occasion. You had a quarrel with a parakeet? Yeah, that pretty much puts the whole trial to naught. Because I'm pretty sure the RSPCA didn't exist at that time. But of course, why else would she have chosen to fly from my window so uncordially this evening? To the abode of the inspector here beside me, no less. Inspector Gregson's abode. But why? Because that was the parakeet's home, naturally. What are you... The inspector was called away from town for some days, so it was arranged that I would look after the bird. But it would appear that she was overcome with a sudden yearning for a keeper. Thus prompting a flight from my comfortable suite to the inspector's office at Scotland Yard. Well, Gregson, I believe it's high time you explained. Give us your account of what happened that night, sparing no details, of course. Inspector Gregson? It was an accident. I got back from being away that evening, you see. I just walked through the door of my office. I never imagined Madame Rosie would be on her way back to the yard as well. I slammed the door shut behind me, just as she was trying to fly through it. So Madame Rosie... She got sandwiched between the door and the frame and fell to the floor, never to move again, because of me. Well, I never. I had to do something, and just when I was trying to think of a plan, you fellas arrived talking about some incident on Baker Street. I had to hide Madame Rosie in a hurry, so I stuffed her in my coat pocket and got in the cab with the pair of you. What could possibly have motivated you to behave in such a manner, Inspector? Lord Strongheart, sir. What? Lord Strongheart? Please tell me I didn't hear that right. It was the Lord Chief Justice who asked me to look after the bird in the first place. She'd been living with the pigeons at the Supreme Court until then. But apparently that, other birds had started to pick on her. So over the past 6 months or so, I've been caring for her in my office on the yard. I see. If anything happened to that bird, just imagine. No pay and no time off for the rest of my career. You mark my words, that's what's gonna happen. That's why well... When the victim's dying words, Inspector, the court heard earlier that Madame Rosie spoke the name of her assailant on her deathbed. That's what Sholmes would be definitely. It's a saying. Indeed she did, quite uncalled for when she was free. But those words are your true feelings, are they not, Inspector? Clearly you speak of me often at your office and the yard in this disparaging manner. A manner that the merry parakeet took much like mimicking. Well, come on! I mean, have you read this month's edition of Vance Magazine? I'm... Sorry! This is all absolutely true? Yes. Something wrong, Lord Van Zeeks? No, nothing. I was drifting off for a moment now. It's hard not to drift off when you've been kept waiting 3 hours already. I wonder if I managed to meet with Lord Strongheart at all today. I have to deliver the report on the Windybank case I asked for on another day. Tell me, Inspector, what became of that bird? Madame Rosie, you mean? She had no escape, but she's still alive. I delivered her back here not long ago, actually, on Lord Stronghouse orders. He's hoping the pigeons will accept her now. It was something of a shock to hear that she'd been crushed in the doorway of the office, especially as we were all under the misapprehension that Madame Rosie was a person. Sorry about that. It was Lord Stronghouse's demand that. Ah, good. You're here. I apologize for my tardiness. I'm exactly 3 hours, 24 minutes, and 57 seconds late. The Winged Divine trial is concluded, but it is far from over. It seems that Dark Far Eastern Lord and I have some shared destiny. We'll meet again, on that I have no doubt. Did you see that, Lord Von Zeeks? Did you? Madame Rosie went flying off among the pigeons there. Happy as Larry she was. Really, Inspector, you must be relieved.